Many thanks for joining me today on the Marketplace. Now, members of Ghana Liquefied Petroleum Gas Operators Association say they are boycotting pilot implementation of the cylinder recirculation policy. They say government has failed to involve them in consultation ahead of the implementation. The association cites potential job losses among other reasons for its position, insisting safety mechanisms should rather be improved. Nanaya Ojima spoke with some of the members in Kumasi and has filed this report.
In Ashanti region, the National Petroleum Authority is assessing gas stations at Obuasi to select one as service point. The association says the authority has approached members to allow them use their facility for the pilot after ignoring them in consultation. LPG retailer in Obuasi, Ajeman Opombedu of Ajeman Gas, questioned the decision to involve them in the implementation.
Because they've not sat down with me and explained anything to me. How I'm going to fill the cylinders, how the whole system, I don't understand it. And they've never sat down with me. I only saw the MPA boss at my station with so many people, as I said earlier. And later on, they told me that there will be another group. The group who came around were researchers from MPA.
NPA says about 4,500 jobs will be created in the distribution chain, but dealers insist it is inadequate. A dealer, Joyce Asari, indicates 8,000 people are already employed in the sector. She says, we have invested a lot of money in our businesses. If they want us out, they should compensate us so our workers can go home with something. Collins Oseitutu is a member of the association. He argues streamlining the existing system, which is riddled with errors, is a more preferable option to introducing a new regime.
When the truck comes, they use the engine to power the shaft to offload the content of from the truck. And we came out with a solution that we are going to allow our members to use what we call withdrawal pump. And that's what we have been using across. We are more conscious. We are more serious than MPA itself. CLM2 is not a solution to explosion.
Others argue recirculation would discourage many buyers in smaller units from using LPG at the expense of the environment. Another dealer, Chair Diabo of Glory Gas, suggests recirculation would disadvantage vehicles which run on LPG.
They come to our station holding 14.5 kg. Instead of buying the quantity, say 70 or 75 cedis, they buy just 5 cedis, 10 cedis. I know quite from why they buy, I say the money with them is so small. In Sunyane, from Tempura's records, only one station was earmarked to be a low risk, which can sell to the taxis. So when this happens, say 40 cars or 30 cars go to just one station buying this LPG from the station, it will create a chaos over there.
From Kumasi for JoyNews, Nanaya Ojima reporting.
Let's still stay within the Ashanti region. Private tertiary institutions say overtaxation by government is suffocating them. Principal of Jackson College of Education, Wilhelmina Theodora Jackson, is therefore calling for a review of the tax regime to relieve institutions of financial distress. She spoke with Live Business on the sidelines of the 7th graduation of the college in Kumasi. There's more in this report. All right, so we'll be bringing you shortly that report from Kumasi. But also in the bulletin, entrepreneurs in Ghana have been tasked to adopt international modules to solving key challenges facing SMEs and the Ghanaian economy as a whole. This was made known by the Deputy Dutch Ambassador to Ghana, Katia Lesser, who presented awards to budding student entrepreneurs at the 2019 New Business Challenge in Accra. There's more in this report.
The Netherlands Embassy, through the Ghana Netherlands Business and Culture Council, GNBCC, has announced winners for this year's New Business Challenge Awards. The challenge, which saw some entrepreneurs pitch solutions to major issues of sanitation, agriculture, financing, among others, was aimed at increasing entrepreneurship skills for students across the country. Speaking at the event, Deputy Dutch Ambassador to Ghana, Katia Lesser, expressed commitment in helping to boost Ghana's entrepreneurial drive.
But what we like about it is that it encourages innovative and sustainable entrepreneurship and is a platform for an exchange of knowledge between Dutch and Ghanaian students. So the embassy is very much in favor of all kinds of exchanges between Ghana and the Netherlands. And it also offers students and businesses a unique opportunity to interact, exchange knowledge, and uncover potential opportunities for trade and investment in Ghana.
Acting Chief Director for the Ministry of Business Development, Alhaji Hafiz, also outlined measures government has adopted to improve the lot of entrepreneurs.
I believe every company represented today will take advantage of this opportunity to contribute their quota to the development of our country.
At the end of the challenge, a group of ladies who proffered business solutions to international agric NGO Solidaridad emerged winners. They spoke to Joy Business.
It was a very challenging one. We come from such a different cultures, Holland and Ghana. However, I think we managed really good to work together as a group.
I've started something small. We are into cashew production, so I see myself very far.
So far we've learned a lot. We've learned how to work in groups, even with the cultural differences, and I believe that we are going to apply this in our daily lives. So NBC has been really a developmental program for us, and we are so grateful.
We've all taken really great relationships. We've learned how to communicate and give feedback to each other.
Ghana Netherlands Business and Culture Council, GNBCC, represents the business interests of both Ghanaian and Dutch companies and renders business development and support services to its members. The Netherlands is currently Ghana's 5th largest export destination, 3rd largest import partner, and among its biggest investment partners.
Let's get back to our earlier story from Kumasi, where private tertiary institutions are saying overtaxation by government is suffocating them. Principal of Jackson College of Education, Wilhelmina Theodora Jackson, is calling for a review of the tax regime to relieve institutions of financial distress. She spoke with Love Business on the sidelines of the 7th graduation of the college in Kumasi.
Mrs. Jackson says it's high time government gave serious attention through tax waivers to private investors in education for their contribution to human resource development. She cites Get Fund as an avenue for providing such support because all citizens contribute to the fund.
If we have even tax waiver, we will adore that very much because it is really eating into our income for operation. The government is building with Get Fund. What happens if they also build one structure in any of the private educational institutions? Because after all, we are training Ghanaian children. We are not different from the others.
Council Chairman of Jackson College of Education, Professor Samuel Afrane, who is also President of Christian Service University College, says taxes and levies stifle growth of private tertiary institutions.
Where we have one, the National Accreditation Board, which oversees and regulates our activities of all tertiary institutions, including private. Then the private universities also have mentor institutions, mainly the public institutions, Legon, KUS, KECOS, also mentoring and supervising the private universities. And this comes with a big cost because we are serving two masters. It's an apprentice who has two masters, and therefore the NAP comes with the cost, and then the mentor institutions also come with the cost. And eventually, in fact, they do almost the same thing. We think that the two should be synchronized.
This is live on the marketplace. Now, the Financial Stability Advisory Council, FSC, was established to help address some challenges within Ghana's financial sector and also foster greater communication between the regulators of the financial system. But will the Financial Stability Council be able to solve potential challenges within the sector? Financial economist and CEO of SEM Capital Advisors Limited, Dr. Sam Mensah, has been explaining on the business edition of PM Express on JoyNews.
Of the current regulatory model that we have, or what we've had to date, is what we might call the silo system. You know, every segment of the market has its own regulator. We have insurance with the National Insurance Commission, Securities and Exchange Commission, banking with the Bank of Ghana, and pensions with NPRA. So it's been a silo system, and there hasn't been that much coordination between them. And the recent inauguration of the Financial Stability Council, I think, is a step in the right direction. It is going to solve the problem of one sector being left out when there are crises in the market. But it does not really quite solve all the problems, because we still have a very poor market conduct regulation. And you can think of regulation as being in two dimensions. Okay. There is market conduct, which is really about how business is conducted, what products are being sold, what are the rights and obligations of all participants in the market. That's market conduct. And then we have prudential regulation, which is really about the soundness of the financial institutions. Okay. Sometimes there can be conflicts of interest between the two sides. So an example of a conflict of interest might be that the prudential regulator is too focused on the soundness of the financial institutions, that they don't pay attention to how they are actually conducting themselves or doing business out there. And so with that in mind, some countries have decided to separate the two, and that is what they call the Twin Peaks. Okay. Now, the question is can Ghana do Twin Peaks? From where we are, it's a big leap. Because doing Twin Peaks means, for example, that let's say Bank of Ghana takes over the prudential regulation of all the sector, including securities, and then another agency takes over market conduct. And it will require a complete rearrangement of the architecture of the financial system.
Dr. Mensah is also advising fund management companies to invest depositors' funds prudently. His call comes in the wake of customers' complaints about their funds being locked up with some fund management companies, some of whom have been accused of not investing wisely. In response to a question on whether the regulator should be allowed to direct investment firms to invest clients' deposits of monies, the investment advisor said he believes it is the duty of such firms to do the right thing.
I don't think SEC specifies that for you, but I think that prudence requires that you reach an understanding with your client. And what is normally done is that you do a risk assessment of the client, and you arrive at a certain conclusion with respect to how much risk that person can carry, or how much risk that institution can carry. Some are very risk averse, and you will find that out from if you do your know your client exercise carefully, you'll find that somebody is very risk averse. So if the person is risk averse, obviously their money should not go to real estate, which is very volatile and illiquid. Their money should not go to equities, because equity returns are very volatile, they fluctuate a lot. So you have to find instruments with stability of return, which will suit their temperament. If you're managing a mutual fund, every mutual fund has its objectives. Some are money market mutual funds, some are equity mutual funds, some are fixed income mutual fund. And again, the percentages that you put into those instruments.
Now, the Millennium Development Authority leader is confident it will be able to secure the last tranche of compact funds despite current issues with ECG's partial takeover. The assurance follows concerns that the U.S. government might freeze the remaining $190 million over alleged fraud with the concessionaire process. But head of reforms at the authority, Michael Area, tells Joy Business the U.S. government has agreed to rather act on the outcome of the ongoing investigations.
The Americans who are partners in this compact are aware of what is happening. And I can also tell you that the inflows, to some extent, they have influence over it. But the attitude of the Americans is just like the attitude of our government. What they are saying is that until we have concluded the process of getting to the truth, we should not rush to any conclusions and therefore any decisions and speculations. We should just wait for the process.
But I'm saying that it doesn't mean that the drawdowns can be made for the last tranche after all these issues have been satisfied and they are also okay with the outcome.
Of course. What will stop anybody from giving us the money?
So the money is not, the $190 million is not under threat at all?
I don't think so at this stage.
You don't think so, but it could be?
I don't think so at this stage.
Finally, let me get from you. Do you think that timing was of an essence in trying to take decisions on whatever that has happened, that the process had to be rushed a little bit because there were deadlines that had to be met, and therefore viewing some of them, varying some of them was very important?
We can never talk about rushing here. This has been a 4-year process to date. Originally, we planned it to be 2 years. So something which has already delayed for 2 years, how can you say we are rushing? But the point is that sometimes you have to move on, else forever you'll be waiting to solve a little sticking point, which kills everything, and therefore nobody will do that. So we did not rush the process. The process has gone its full length, and we are convinced and satisfied that we have done the right things.
And all the documents that you reviewed, all the necessary forensic that you did on the documents submitted, even as at now, they were genuine documents, they were right things that you did, and took the right decisions.
We are convinced that the work we did made us find the truth about the documents we got. The due diligence we did, we stand by the due diligence, and we are convinced that we did the right thing.
And you're not destined that PDS at any point has submitted fraudulent documents?
The investigations are ongoing. Let us be patient and wait for the results.
Now, the decline in the automobile industry in Ghana has greatly affected our global brand. That's according to the Executive Marketing and Brands Manager of Premium Motors, dealers in Renault cars in the country, Audrey Echampong. She made the revelation during a blood donation exercise at the company's showroom in Accra. Executive Marketing and Brands Manager of Premium Motors, dealers in Renault cars in Ghana, indicated that despite the relatively affordable prices, the company's sales in Ghana, the downturn in sales is largely affecting all automobile companies in the country.
This year has been very declining for all the automobile industries, and we are not exception, or we are not out of it. If we can recount again, we have been speaking about the fact that Renault Global in general is not doing too well. But again, we hope that with the relaunch and remodel of some of our units, or of our models in the showroom or in the brand of fleets that we have, we would pump you guys and appeal to you more. So we can. But for now, this year, from January to this half of the year, it hasn't been what we expected to be. I think it's not just for us, it's for all the automobile industries in Ghana. And like I said, generally for Renault Global, we haven't been doing well as we expected, but business is still there.
She stated that the company is committed to ensuring that their customers live healthy lifestyles, hence the need for the Renault Live blood donation as part of its corporate social responsibility.
We care about people a lot. We keep saying this to everybody, and then we know the importance of lives. If people are not alive, who do we get to purchase our vehicles for us? If we don't support the community, who are the people going to buy for us? We can't then commit anybody to it. So we saw the need to support the National Blood Service, especially looking at the fact that lately they've been saying and appealing to the public to voluntarily donate blood to the service. We thought it wise to take it upon ourselves to invite our customers, so also invite our staff members and the general public to come and donate blood freely for the service.
A senior blood donor with the Ghana Blood Bank, Stephen Danso, cleared the perception that hospitals sell blood for money. He encouraged citizens to always donate blood to make up for emergency service delivery to save lives.
There's the need for corporate bodies like this to all come on board to help save lives, because blood is an essential product and emergency medicine for people who need blood transfusion therapy, such as babies who are severely anemic, road traffic accident victims, our mothers who have delivered and still bleeding, needing blood. Sickle cell patients in crisis, they all need blood, and because blood cannot be artificially manufactured, there's the need to support them by voluntarily donating to save people's life. We don't sell blood. You know, blood is priceless and it's a precious gift given by God. So how can we come appeal to people to donate blood freely and we sell the blood? So we don't actually sell blood.
Fed to host report for Joy Business. Now, it's the end of the week, and we would like to take a look at how the Ghana Stock Exchange performed this week. Researcher Bertha Atubika joins us on the phone for updates. Bertha, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Emmanuel.
All right, so what's the performance like this week?
Thank you very much. This week has not been too impressive considering the number of volumes of shares that have traded on the stock market. You know, Monday was a holiday, and from Tuesday to close of trade yesterday, we've had a total of 191,840 shares trading on the stock market, which is, this is for the whole week, with the exception of today's trade that we'll be looking at. And that is not too good, but we'll still take it like that. Let me put it that way. But by close of trade yesterday, we had a total of less than 100,000 shares. We had 95,271 shares trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange. 15 equities participated in trading on the stock market. And by close of day's trade, we had TBL, the Trust Bank Limited, going up by 11.11% to close at 20 pesos per share. FML also shot up by 2.11 to close at 4 cedis 85 pesos, and Car Bank also added 1.03% to investors' capital to close at 98 pesos per share. ETI happened to be the sole loser on the market. It lost 9.09% to close at 10 pesos per share. So that's what happened. The composite index lost 1.82. 0.08% on its level, and the financial stocks index also lost 0.27% on its level to close with their respective levels at 2,315.69 points and 2,055.67 points. And with regards to the year-to-date for these major indices, we saw the composite index close yesterday at negative 9.97%, and the financial stocks index closed at negative 4.55%. The rest of the market has also gone down. This year we've seen it go down by 5.91%. It's currently at 57,523.19 million Ghana cedis. That's the current worth of the Ghana Stock Exchange.
So what is the outlook like for next week, and what investors or what equities should investors be looking out for?
Okay, so some of the equities that investors can actually look at next week, they should not forget some of these low-price equities like HAL. They can also look at Societe Generale, and they can also look at EBG, that's EcoBank Ghana, on the stock market. These are some of the equities they can look out for. If you look at the market currently, these equities are trading. We see people buy and sell. And we can also probably look at one of the petroleum equities on the market, or the petroleum sector on the Ghana Stock Exchange. And MTN too. MTN has become very volatile. You can take chances and make some little gains before it drops again, so you can sell out.
All right. Many thanks for that update. Beta Atumiga is a researcher and a stock market analyst, joining us with updates on the performance of the stock markets this week. And on that note, we wrap up this afternoon's edition of the Marketplace. Many thanks for your company. Do join me again next week for more updates in the world of business. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. Have a great weekend.